Final judgment. I am an engineer who married the love of my life 5 years ago. We both are working employees. Everything was perfect and fine until a month ago, and after our honeymoon, my wife would leave to office by 8 and I by 7. Our physical life was okay as I ensured she never lacks anything in our marriage, nor she ever complained. I would return back between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. and she by 7 p.m. approximately. A few months ago, 2 of my friends saw my wife in a coffee shop with a guy as they were holding each other's hands on table and touching with his hand on her shoulder. They didn't inform me immediately, thinking it would crack our friendship. But they used to ask me always, is there any problem in your married life? And my answers was no. Long story to cut off, they told me about the other guy and my wife's roaming not only 1 time but 3 to 4 times in different malls as they saw her, and asked me if my wife has told me about her outgoing. I was shocked on hearing, as I would always think she in office. After much arguments with my friends, I decided to keep a watch on her and didn't confront her. She was at home acting normal but busy with phones sometimes, as normal she was. When once again my friend informed me that my wife is in food court with same guy, I called her office, but was told she is in a busy meeting. Then I called her but no reply, and then my friend told me she is purposely not picking up as he was observing her. I lost my mind, and then I hired a private detective to keep a watch on her. And also, she shouldn't know this, because if my friends were wrong then my marriage would be in trouble. After days I was shocked to see her and that guy's pic. They were hugging, kissing, and were too close physically, and the detective told me about her affair, and that guy was her colleague working with her department. Moreover, I came to know that she was on leave for a week while she told me she is going to Bengaluru for a company meeting. Not only that, several days she was absent in office and a warning letter was issued to her. Worst, his photos were also of her accompanying him to his residence, entering his building by touching each other, and she alone leaving by evening. I was devastated, hurt, exploded in anger. Tears came crawling my eyes that time. How can she kiss someone when I'm alive? She didn't even think of me 1 time while doing all this. How shameless she is, even being married she is in an affair. I was a fool who was planning to talk about having our children. I cried that night but decided to stop being a fool. That day I stayed with my friends. By 10:30 p.m. she started calling me and my friends switched it off as I was not in mood. The next day I went home. She was a stupid, acting like she was worried about me, but she came to know from my face something was wrong. I took bath and left house without seeing her face. I directly reached to a lawyer's office and narrated my story and evidences to him along with my friends, and then served her divorce papers by mutual consent in presence of my and her parents. I confronted her that time and threw the photos on her face when she denied. Everyone was shocked and I dragged her out of my house and shut the door. I created a scene in the building in anger and also threw her parents out. I shouted if not by mutual consent then by LPC, adultery, I would file for divorce in court. Even now my parents hate me in laws. Now she has accepted her affair and exposed it was a pre-marriage affair and physical relation with that guy, including flirting, but denies sleeping with him. She took leave from office to spend time with him when I was thinking my wife is busy in her work. Now she is constantly crying and begging me and my parents, saying she made a big mistake and has nothing to do with that guy from now and such thing will never happen again. She had left her job and is pleading to live like a servant in my house and obey me but not to divorce her. Her parents too are requesting. Now she is complaining that she felt lonely as I was a workaholic. She was also working, then how come such lame excuse? I loved her a lot but she killed my love for her. I asked her if she was in love with him before marriage, then why the hell did she marry me? Her answer was she wanted to end it after meeting me, which is a stupid excuse which destroyed my life. My life is ruined and I can't get over the fact of her kissing and flirting with other guy. It always strikes my head. I am dead set on divorce now. I married her, loved her, and she was in an affair and cheated me and kept me in dark until my friends found out. This is what I got for loving my ex-wife. Now I don't love her anymore, nor I want to hear her excuses. I just want a clean divorce from her as early, and my parents too are supporting me. Her tears have no effect on me, but she begs for a last and final chance. Her friends contacted me saying she is highly depressed and in suicidal tendency as all are hating her. She will be loyal from now to me and had broken all ties with other guy and realized her mistake. I replied them I can't believe all this, as trust is vanished, which is the base of a relation. So, it's better to kill this relation, and told them to leave. Am I right for being dead set on divorce because cheating cannot be ever forgiven by me? She could have told me all this, or after marriage she should have been loyal to me but betrayed me. I am heading towards divorce. I can't believe that she bunked her office like college students do that just to be with her lover when her husband was alive. If she would have told me the truth, I would have divorced her accordingly if she loves him. My marriage vows were all a lie from her part, and now why the hell is she wanting me? In fact, by divorce I am giving her the freedom she wants if she loves him and to be with him. Now my cell is flooded with her beg for forgiveness, and even she came crying and in shame fell on my knees when I refused to take her back in any way. She asks for a last and final chance and to obey all my orders in life from now and never do such things ever again. But I feel cheating is not a mistake and I can't forgive it. Her pics with other guy kissing, and thoughts of flirting with him always strikes my head, and it has damaged my mental peace as I am not able to concentrate on anything and get angry over small things. It is affecting my mental balance. Comments. Whatever decision you have to make it confronting the truth. Everybody here will tell you that your wife is still lying. She obviously had slept with this guy. We have seen many times this behavior where the WS just accept what has been proven, that in this case is dates, kisses, and fooling around. But you have to face reality for what we know. Maybe she has been having this affair from day one in the marriage. Besides, she takes that leave week not to go on dates, but to have time to enjoy intimately their encounters. Now there is another factor here to consider. For what I get in your story, you are from Hindu culture. So the reason for she to look reconciliation is not necessarily her love for you, but the shame that she will bring to her family if you divorce her. Probably even her parents are telling her that they will disown her if you don't take her back. The problem with this is that she has strong motivations to seek reconciliation and do heavy lifting, but for the wrong reasons and not because she loves you and is remorseful to have hurt you. In the end, if you decide to reconcile, she have to give you a full timeline from when the affair began and what she did with him. To know the full truth, you can even use the polygraph test. Most cheaters that keep denying that something happened crack once they know they will be taking a polygraph test. Some confess immediately after being told that there will be a polygraph test, but many keep denying sleeping together when they think the polygraph test is just an empty threat. But before going through all of this, you have to decide if her cheating, even while still not knowing the whole truth, is a deal breaker to you or not. Personally, I think that a person that is cheating with a marriage of just 5 years is not worth even the effort of considering reconciliation. You are young, you don't have kids with this woman yet. She was supposed to be still in the honeymoon phase where she is supposed to be into you. And yet she cheated. From an objective point of view, is better to leave now that you don't stand that much to lose that 20 years later with kids, mortgage, and a great asset division in the picture. OP responds, I am a professional person and my job is hectic sometimes and I can't compromise on that, but she, being my wife, should have understood this, or she should have discussed this problem with me, but instead she chooses the wrong path. She never during married life told me she felt lonely and all. On Sundays I always ensure that I spend max time with her, and if even on Sundays I have to work till noon, I will leave my in-laws' place in morning if she says so, that she can have a time pass by gossiping, chatting, and all. Even she was working women, she knew about my hectic schedules, and only it was rare days when I would reach home by late 11:30 p.m. and all. By then she would have slept, but when I discovered her affair, what my work has to do with it. She was spending time with that guy and I was kept in dark about it, and that too from the start of marriage. My marriage was only a betrayal, as if she loved him. She could have told me about it, I would have cleared away from her path. I worked hard, earned money, but for whom? For her only, to keep her happy and meet all her demands. But now it's all ruined. She gave me hopes and killed it. My marriage was at least a year, but my world collapsed in one day, and now why the hell is she wanting me? She should be happy as I let her go without any hurdles in her path. Yes, I am in process of divorcing her. Almost half a year later. It has been a long time since I have been here. How can she have an affair when her husband was alive here? She never even once thought about me while doing all this. And if affair is concerned, I would have also had it. Who would have stopped me from having an affair? No one. But I had always respected my cultural and family values. I never thought in my wildest dream that I will be in such a situation. If the domestic violence I did is concerned, the Indian court takes into account what has led me do that and then only takes action. Here in my case, it is clear-cut that I was betrayed and my mental state was disturbed. Hence, she can't press charges against me for her wrongdoings, and if she files any complaint against me to harass me, then I will expose her adultery and get her arrested for cheating on me under criminal breach of trust and cheating law under Indian Penal Court. Anyways, I don't wish to take revenge on her. I just wanted to clearly end my relationship with her. I hit her out of anger when she denied her cheating, whereas I had evidence of her cheating on me, and now I had filed for divorce. I don't love her anymore and in future don't want to see her face ever again. As per Indian divorce law, I will have to wait 6 months as the court granted me a reconciliation period, and if still no results, I will be granted divorce. This happened because divorce is by mutual consent. If under adultery law, I would have got it the day I filed for divorce. As I told earlier, I don't want to shame her in front of society or take revenge on her. I just want myself to be out of all relationships with her legally and also mentally. Then it's her life, she can do what she wants. I don't want any court battles with her unless she provokes me. Of course, I have the proof, so I will win, I know. If I proceed legally, I can even land her in jail for cheating on me, and if she files any false case, we'll do that. The simple question which I would like to ask is, if the affair was concerned, I would have also had it by cheating her. Who would have stopped me from having it? No one. But I do respect my culture, marriage, and family-oriented life. Is this what I deserve? I came to know about all this laws when I fell in divorce situation. Now our divorce is happening because I threaten her to expose her adultery if she refuses divorce in court. Hence, we both peacefully agreed for divorce in court even though she was crying. I noticed it. Hence Bombay court agreed, but still a 6 months time period is given to us for reconciliation, which is impossible for me. I refuse to have any contact with her. Moreover, in India, it is not so easy to walk out of a marriage even if anyone wants to, as the courts won't allow that to happen without any serious reasons, and the spouse who walks out of marriage will land in legal trouble if they refuse to be in that marriage without a valid reason, irrespective of wife or husband who tries to dump their spouse. Hence the divorce rates are less here. None of my colleagues or friends or any known person are divorced. All are happily married and have loving wives. Only am the only one who will be a divorcee soon. I just hate to be in a situation like this for my no mistake. I never thought I would be in a situation like this. I have my parents' support too, hence no question of getting back. I'm just waiting for the time period given by court to get over by January next year. Story 2. I'm not even really sure where to begin, but I need advice because I simply don't know what to do and am in a delicate situation and feel that my marriage is hanging by a thread. I have been married for over 8 years now and am 28 years old. I got married at 19 and we have no children yet because we are going to college. At some point over the spring semester last year, my husband met Abby, a 19-year-old girl from a very poor family who is very pretty and smart. She also happens to be part of my husband's large group of friends. Found herself in a bad situation over the summer semester with nowhere to stay to go to school. And honestly, it was at this point where I should have done something. But I was worried that it would drive a rift between us because he wanted to help her so badly. So he wanted to let her stay on our couch over the summer, and I said yes. She stayed for the summer and everything seemed fine until the last few weeks. One night the three of us were at our apartment and she was helping me edit my paper for English when in passing she made a comment about my husband being bi. Something I had never heard before ever. I waited till she left and asked him if he was, and he said yes, and so I asked him why she knows and I didn't, to which he replied that Abby is easier to talk to than me and that he tells her everything. He also regularly makes comments when she mentions a feature about herself that she doesn't like, how if he weren't married, he would take her in a manly fashion. I have asked him repeatedly if anything has ever happened between them and he has always firmly said no. But there is clearly some emotional dependency between these two. I would honestly say it's a non-physical relationship. Assuming he isn't lying, I think it could easily become physical with the right circumstances because there is already an admitted attraction that they are both aware of. At the same time, I do not wish to over or underreact to the situation I am in. My mom developed a relationship with another man when I was in 8th grade and throughout high school until my parents finally separated when I was 19. Whether or not they were ever just friends is unknown to me, but I watched it clearly become an affair, and those two are now married. This is the reason I am worried about how to respond, besides that since everyone is friends and there is no way I am even monitor whether they are around each other or not, that doing anything could mess things up even more. I have started talking to a friend about it, but they also know my husband along with basically everyone else I know and are likely to say something to him which would make the situation worse. What should I do? I guess I should have mentioned when I said she stayed for the summer semester that it was just for the summer to help her out. Not a permanent thing. She has been gone for a couple of months from the apartment. Also, she didn't tell me he is bi. She made a comment to him about him being bi while she was reading my paper. I just happened to be there and overhear it, which is what opened all this crap up. Because like you guys, I've got a problem with not being the one he told this to and only knowing it because of directly asking after a comment she made about him liking guys. The fact that he has admitted he can talk to her more easily and has told her stuff he hadn't told me and that he sees no issue with what he is doing or plans to stop tells me he is having an emotional affair. He has basically admitted to it without that terminology. It's plainly obvious seeing them together and hearing him talk about her that they are having an emotional affair. That has progressed so far and that there is ample opportunity for something to happen if they want it to, or the right emotional situation comes along and pushes them to it, is what worries me. Along with him saying that he sees no problem telling someone he is attracted to and likes him back and already has an emotional relationship with, that he would have slept with them if I wasn't in the picture. Clearly there is a lot wrong with our relationship if he can tell someone else besides me before me that he is bi and then thinks telling me that she is easier to talk to is a justifiable reason as to why. It meant enough to my husband that I did it for him to be happy. He wanted to help her and I care about people. There was a lot of pressure from various sides to do it. I didn't know what their relationship was like because at the time I was finishing doing an 18-credit-hour semester while working full-time. The problem with telling him no contact is I have absolutely no way of enforcing it or monitoring it, besides by forum detective ways. I'm a full-time student and I work full-time besides, as does he. The only difference is he works at the school, which is where he met her and obviously sees her regularly along with all his other friends. We have to both work full-time to live and we have to go to school full-time to get loans. and he has 8 hours a day of the apartment to himself. She lives on campus in dorms. I've never been there, but who knows if he has. I'm not okay with their relationship and I don't want her around me. I thought she respected me more than she obviously does. I also can't afford to live alone and my parents aren't even close to my school, so I can't go back to them. I guess I should do some detective work, and then if I find out he isn't in this, then I guess I can pretend the same and stay till I get my degree, or at least some sort of financial cushion for when the shoe drops, and then get the duck out. I am more concerned about what's happening at school and either home, and I want to get an idea of what these conversations are like. He is extremely defensive of the relationship and doesn't want to give it up, so I'm sure he'll be trying to convince me that nothing is going on. While I could just hang out with his friends at school and be around them, I don't think I would learn anything from doing so, and I would probably start failing my classes from not studying, so I think I will stick to forum spy methods. I don't think the bi thing is so much about sleeping with guys as much as admitting that he is attracted to them in the first place. I'm bi. I don't find the need to go around sleeping with a bunch of girls. Doesn't mean I don't want to, just means I don't, which is why I'm not really responding to that issue. The reason I brought up the fact he is bi is because that is what I found out she knew about him that I didn't know, and so you would know how far their communication goes beyond what I know. My husband knows I'm bi and didn't tell me as well, so maybe that makes it even worse. It's bad either way. Think I obviously need to find out more information about what is going on when I'm not around. I went to the standard evidence post, which has a lot of great voice and computer tips. Maybe I missed it, but I did not see video options. Do you guys think that is less useful, or that the voice one is so good you really don't need video? I have a computer that regularly sits on my desk, which is facing my bed. If there is a way to record inconspicuously from my computer via webcam or whatever, that would be helpful. So long as it's not obvious that it's happening. There are other places in the bedroom I could easily hide a VAR as well. The living room shouldn't be a problem either. What would you suggest for hiding something in his backpack or something, possibly so I can hear what's going on while he is at school? That is my main concern besides the apartment. I could probably hide surveillance in the school areas. I know he goes with everyone, but I don't know what more private areas he might use. I need something to put on him. The woman doesn't still live with us. That was only over the summer because she was in a bad spot living with a horrible guy who locked her out at night sometimes, and it was a crazy mess, which is why I let her stay with us briefly. If anything was going on, then they are either amazing at hiding stuff or this developed after, because there were no indications that anything weird was going on at all. It hasn't been till recently, maybe the last month or so, that he has been really weird about her and defensive about their relationship. Now I think he is trying to pretend that everything is normal again. He cooked me dinner and isn't fighting or defending their relationship. He just is agreeing not to talk to her about things instead of me. He seems genuine, but this is all too weird at this point, so I'm going to proceed with surveillance measures. I am still trying to think of something I could plant in his backpack for school. If anyone knows anything I could use. I am dumb enough to not see what is going on. I know what is going on with these tactics. He has clearly forgotten that I watched my mom do the same thing to my dad for about a decade before he kicked her out. He tried to make it work. He told her it was inappropriate. He had the whole family tell her it was inappropriate. It never stopped. I'm not going to waste my time on a man that would do that to me. If it's more than emotional, it's done, and I'll find out soon enough. I've ordered my VARs and other stuff. I made a new email and ordered with ties to it, and I'm having someone he knows by face but not socially, because it's my friend, accept the shipment at her place so he won't know it exists. She doesn't even know it exists. I asked if I could have something shipped there and she just agreed without asking, so unless she opens it, I'm the only one who knows I got it. She also doesn't know the situation or the O. So pretty good start, yeah. The other part is even if he finds them. I'm in college, so I have legitimate reasons to have them. I can use excuse multiples with O, so that's where that went. But I doubt he'll look or realize I'm even suspicious, because I'm not going to show up around them. I'm not asking him anything else about it, and I'm going to keep sleeping with him to make sure suspicions don't arise on his part, because why not? If he is cheating on me, he is already sleeping with both of us anyways. The only difference is now I'm aware that that potential exists. I've looked through his computer. There's not much there. I didn't think there would be. What was there was concerning in regard to the way they have wrote each other, but it's brief and there isn't much of it because they can see each other privately basically every day at school. I'm hoping I can come up with a solution to school monitoring, because I need one, especially if I don't get much or anything at home from that monitoring. Do I also have to keep pretending to be friends with this woman? I barely see her, but still we're supposed to be friends. If I'm trying to do surveillance, I have to pretend everything is fine, and I've given up. I mean, I don't want him to talk to her ever again, let alone myself, but until I know what is occurring and whether I want to stay with my spouse, that seems like it would only be detrimental to discovery. Any tips for how to do that? Can I go back afterwards once I assess the situation and tell him to stay away from her, assuming it works out? I'm torn. I want her out of the picture now, so badly, but if I do that, it will be 100% harder to catch them, won't it? If it continues, Or is that not an issue with surveillance? Also, how would I know the extent of their relationship if I tell him to cut it? I don't want to pretend to be her friend. I don't want to pretend I'm fine. I want to scream and throw things and tell him he ducking betrayed me and be upset and only have to deal with it. I cut back my hours this semester to have more time with my husband and be more social. I am making an effort. This is the lowest number of hours I can take and get the loans that allow me to go. And I have to work to pay our bills. There's nothing I can do about either of those things. I need my GPA to get hired when I graduate. I realize after my first job it means crap, but until then I need it to get a good starting wage and good position in my field. Even if I didn't do as much homework, it wouldn't change our relationship. He works second shift, I work third shift. I have morning class 2 days a week and then night classes while he is at work for the rest. He has morning classes, so I'm here. He isn't. And if you think I should switch to a different shift, well, he told me I should get a night shift in the first place, which whatever, probably not the best sign. He was going to get one too, only he never did, and now my classes to graduate are mainly offered for second shift, so I can't change my schedule. I doubt he will either because he is probably sleeping with that girl and doesn't want me around more. And I realize school isn't everything. Do you think I give a duck about any of my classes right now? I would fail and repeat this whole semester if it would save my marriage. It won't. Whatever he is doing, and there's nothing I can do about it besides find out and deal with it. And scream online. I can't just leave either. We have no money. Our parents don't help us at all and we make basically nothing. While I pay our crap, that is basically all our money can do. So I'm going to have to stay until after we get our loan money for next semester so I have money to live on and go to school with and move out if it proves necessary. That's still 3 months of dealing with this if something is going on. Unless my parents decide to actually give a duck about me and help me out. I don't know, maybe some of these joint friends would take my side and help me out, but who can count on something like that? I keep going from extremely angry to extremely hurt, and I'm sorry for the drastic changes, but I'm very upset and am not coping well. I probably won't get my surveillance stuff until the end of next week, which isn't helping me be calm. It will give him a chance to believe this has blown over and go back to whatever he is doing if that's what he wants to do. Couple days later, I have been processing this whole thing slowly, mainly reacting until Wednesday afternoon, but starting to process better now. I managed to get my exam date moved, so I haven't failed it yet. I called my professor and told him what's going on and started crying, which I'm sure wasn't awkward for him at all, poor guys. I talked to my mom tonight before work and filled her in on the basics of what's going on. While my parents aren't very financially supportive, my mom at least is informed in what and how I am doing most of the time. She started hinting maybe he should work when I work, but I told her about the recorders. It was basically an oh damn moment because I don't think she expected it from me, but of course it isn't exactly from me, it's from you guys protecting me. Lol, I mainly just am quoting the above because it resonates with me. As to when he comes home and such, I have no idea because I'm at work, which was a huge factor in getting VAR. ISAP. I think I'm going to start out more slowly with them than I intended until I get good at it. I don't want to get caught doing it because then it's pointless and I am paranoid like that. Once I get good with it, I'll branch out into the school scenario. I did approach him about their friendship and was like, look, you guys are clearly emotionally involved. There is a lot of dirty conversation going on and I'm just not comfortable with you being around her alone. Even if you aren't alone with her, I still don't want you guys talking about that stuff. You're my husband. We're married. It needs to stop. His response was okay and a hug and kiss, after the huge crazy defensive argument about the kinds of stuff they were talking about and how it wouldn't lead to good places with his whole no nothing would ever happen bullcrap. He said okay. To me that doesn't exactly add up. So, either he was more upset by the implication that he could cheat on me the discussion before, or he knows I have no way of finding anything out because of my schedule. Which isn't true. Regardless, I am acting absolutely thrilled that all of our problems are now solved because he is staying away from her. Until I find out whether or not he is staying away from her. As to what they have in common, I don't know. They like some of the same shows and whatever, and she hangs out with the guys he hangs out with, so I can only assume there were days where she was upset and he tried to cheer her up, or asked what's wrong and heard her life story. He has always been protective of her, so she probably feels safe around him. I don't know what they are like when I'm not around. As to telling him this is what will happen if I find you together or any of that, I don't think it's necessary. He was told not to do it. He agreed. He definitely should know me well enough to know there are consequences. If he doesn't, then I guess he doesn't know me very well or he is dumb. I am very open about how I view and feel about things, and I'll probably kick him out since he has all these friends. He can stay with one of them. I'm not dwelling on this stuff right now. I'm in planning mode. I intend to spend a bit looking over our finances more closely and figuring out how I can save up some extra money for in case crap besides our basic emergency fund. Honestly, it might be good that I am so busy. He knows when I'm not around. It doesn't change, so he knows when he can get away with stuff. I might not have to wait too long to find stuff out. Again, if anyone knows about handheld radios and how, if they interact badly with VOR, please let me know, because I don't want him to get fired due to feedback or something. If he's cheating, it's one thing to find out, but if he isn't, that is really not going to help the relationship. Hey honey, I'm bugging you. Sorry you got fired for misusing the radios because I bugged you. By the way, we can't pay rent now. Wouldn't go over well, and it's extremely hard to find full-time work that is nice about college schedules. A week later. Why is he still talking to her? 2 days in a row. I guess I shouldn't give a crap about our marriage either. Maybe I should just go around making dirty comments to guys. I'm sure nothing will happen. I didn't even ban seeing her in public, just private contact. I mean, really, what the duck am I doing with this guy if he doesn't respect me enough to stay the duck away from this girl? No, I am seriously asking you because I don't know. I moved from another country to be with him. I do 90% of the housework. I work. I go to school. I cook when I can. And he spends all of his time with his friends, leaves no time for just the two of us, and is doing whatever the hell he is doing with that girl. Hell no, this is bull crap. And found more Facebook messages. One day when my ducks are in a row, I'll just be moving my crap out, probably while he is at work, and I'll leave divorce papers and a long letter explaining why I left. Or better yet, if you can serve people with divorce papers outside, I will get that to happen where he hangs out with all of his friends, since they should see that. My comment. What you guys think about these divorce stories? You like these stories that has a final ending? Comment down below, sub and bell, and stay tuned for the next